purposes. Okay.
Follow-up. So while China, the United States is asking for cooperation on North Korea issue, but Secretary Tillerson last week gave the speech, which he envisioned the U.S.-India relation for the next century. And in that speech, he criticized China on many fronts, like South China Sea and economic expansion. So many experts see this as a China containment strategy. Could you please clarify on it? Is it a China containment strategy?
I think the Secretary and what he said in his speech about China, in his speech about India, was something that the Secretary has said with China privately before. So some of those in the past have been private conversations, and now they're just becoming more public conversations. But let me just say, I know that the President is very much looking forward to his trip to China. It is going to be a lengthy trip, a robust trip, and one of the top issues that will be discussed with China is certainly the DPRK.
But if the United States values a strong Indian-United States relation, why India is not included in the first President Trump's first Asia trip?
I think that that would be a different kind of trip for the President, tagging India on along to that trip. I think he's got a pretty hefty schedule, but I don't want to speak on behalf of the White House.
Or does that mean Secretary Tillerson and President Trump think differently on Indian strategy?
No, I mean, they have the same position on that, the same concerns, the same foreign policy goals and all of that, but I'm not going to get ahead of the President's trip and why certain countries are on his schedule and why others are not. That would be under the White House's purview. Okay? Okay. Hi.
Yes, and just in Tillerson's speech, he also talked about more involvement of the United States for the infrastructure investment in the Asia-Pacific and the more connectivities for that region. So can we say that this is kind of a U.S. substitution for the China's Belt and Road Initiative? Or he also talked about an agreement between the U.S. and the Nepal. Is there any other agreements or the negotiations that is going on? You could just talk.
I can't forecast any agreements or negotiations, especially nothing before a trip.
And about Belt and Road Initiative, do you think that's a U.S. version for that?
I can tell you that I can tell you that we have a close relationship with India. That we have a lot of areas of common interest, including we're both democracies. We're both large countries. They're an enormous country. India can bring so much, not only to the region, but to the world. In addition, many American jobs through a greater trade and cooperation with that country, and I'm just not going to get beyond that. The Secretary gave a very lengthy speech on India, and I can just refer you back to the